Hello students, this is Professor Faiz Raut from Jain College of Engineering, Department of MBA. Well, I am in the revision lecture of Module 5. Well, in the previous 4 modules, we have discussed what is a merger, who is a target company, who is an acquirer company, what are the different types of mergers, acquisitions, amalgamation, takeover, all those things we have studied. In this module, we are going to study what is acquisition and what is takeover, and how a company defends itself, how a company builds a defense around itself, and how a company take measures for takeover to not to happen for their company. All those things we are going to study. We have studied in this module. Well, in this module, we have studied the meaning of acquisition and takeover, types of acquisitions and takeovers, anti-takeover strategies and measures, anti-takeover amendments, then legal aspects of mergers and acquisition, and its Combination and Competition Act of 2002. Okay, in this the anti-takeover strategies, anti-takeover amendments, all these things are quite interesting and important as well. Okay, now we'll begin with what is acquisition. Well, acquisition is buying of one company by another. It can be a friendly or a hostile. Okay, if there is a target company which has been acquired by the acquirer company, if that acquisition is happening friendly, then it is generally termed as acquisition. If that acquisition is a hostile acquisition, that means the target company don't want itself to be acquired by the acquiring company, it wants to defend itself from acquiring, then it is a hostile takeover. Okay, if the acquirer company succeed in acquiring that target company forcefully, then it's a hostile acquisition or a hostile takeover. Okay, there are types of acquisition. Okay, 5 types we have mentioned in the notes. Types of acquisition is friendly takeover. Friendly takeover is when target company and acquiring company both are agreeing on their terms, negotiation happened and both the side there is a win-win situation, then it is a friendly takeover. If it is a forceful takeover, then it is called as a hostile takeover. When it is a takeover in which the target company is in dire need to be taken over by a company, that means the target company's business has been in a huge loss and they are not able to sustain in the market. They're very unstable kind of a company, and when acquirer company is coming to take over this target company, then it is called as a bailout takeover. They are bailing out that target company from a difficult situation. Fourth one is reverse takeover. Reverse takeover is when the private company takes over the public company. Okay, or it's yeah, so that the private company which is taking over the public company also becomes the public company. So it's a kind of a shortcut to convert from a private limited company to a public limited company. Okay, next is backflip takeover. Okay, and backflip takeover is what generally takeover happen when acquirer company acquires the target company and the name of target company will go off from the market. Okay, but in this opposite happens. In this, the target company's name is being used by the acquirer company and the name of acquirer company goes off because the target company's name is has a goodwill in the market, has a good name in the market. So generally it happens like that. Okay, when acquirer company is acquiring the target company, they what do you say, they change the name of the total amalgamated company with the target company. Okay, this is the types of acquisition. Okay, next is defensive measures. Now the target company takes defensive measures in order to make itself, that means the company, very unattractive or less attractive to the acquirer company. So the raider who is an acquirer company comes to acquire the target company. He that company should feel that the target company is not so good, it is not worth acquiring. So the target company's intention is that to make itself not attractive, so that the acquirer company will not acquire. So this will take place in the defensive measures in the takeover. Okay, so there are 2 measures in this. Preventive, one kind of measures is preventive measures, which is anti-takeover strategies. Another kind of defensive measure is active measures, which is anti-takeover amendments. Okay, well, in preventive measures or anti-takeover strategies, these are adopted to adjust these characteristics of a firm so that the financial motivation of a bidder to acquire the target is reduced to a large extent. Okay, and the takeover attempt can be slowed down and the acquisition becomes more expensive for the bidder. Okay, so the target company will um, keep on doing what do you say keep on blocking the way of acquirer company to come and acquire its company. So the acquiring cost of the target company by the acquirer company will go high, so the target company will become very costly to the acquirer company, and so it is felt that the acquirer company will give up and not acquire the target company. So in this there are many types. First is poison pills. Okay, so they are the pills offered. These In this process, the securities issued by the target firm in the form of rights offering to its shareholders to make the firm less valuable in the eyes of a hostile bidder. Okay, poison put, in this case the target company issues bonds that encourage the holders to take cash at a higher prices. Okay, when and people pill, sometimes the entire management of the target company threatens to resign in the event of a takeover. So there is no point for acquiring this company by the acquirer company, because there is no one to manage that target company, and the core management team who knows the in and out of the target company will go off. So the merger or the takeover will become unattractive. Then super majority provisions, in this tactic the majority of the shareholders, usually 70 to 80%, approve the takeover initiative. And only if they approve the takeover, then the takeover should happen. Okay, so that kind of a provision will be created by the target company, so that if these shareholders don't agree, then acquirer company cannot acquire it. Okay, then next is dual capitalization. In this, some kind of shareholders will have a superior voting rights. So those kind of shareholders will be very favorable to the owners of the company, who don't want to be there, who don't want their company to be acquired by another company. So in this case, because of higher voting rights, the during acquisition, the those kind of shareholders who are having superior voting rights will support the owners and try to block the acquisition. Sixth is golden parachute. In this, high compensation will be given to the top level management, and and if they are forced to leave that firm. Suppose the acquiring company acquires the target company, and the managers who are at the higher level in the target company, if they were to be removed by the acquiring company, then the acquiring company has to give them a huge amount of money. Okay, yeah, a huge amount of compensation. Only then they can leave the firm. So that kind of thing, a defensive strategy can be used by a target company, so that the high level management will remain in the target company and the acquiring company cannot remove them because of this high compensation which need to be paid by them. Next is silver parachute. It is just like golden parachute, but even lower level managers are included in this. So if the company wants to remove the target company's lower level management, then they have to give a huge compensation for these people. Okay, so they are very safe. So this golden parachute and silver parachute make sure that the employees of the target company will remain same, and so the acquiring company will not have any good hold in the target company even after acquisition. So by this, the acquiring company will not feel not so attractive company. Okay, then next is a staggered or classified board. Okay, this is the kind of a last thing or last point. In this, the directors are divided into number of different classes. So only one class is up election for 1 year. Okay, and another class will come for election for second year. So there is a effective transfer of control. Okay, for example, board of director consisting of 12 members can be divided into 3 groups. Okay, so 4 and 4 groups can be there. Then hence a hostile bidder has to wait for 2 or more annual general meeting, so that all the board of directors approve the merger. So this waiting for 2 or more annual general meeting, that means waiting for minimum 2.5 to 3 years. So then the acquisition becomes very much costly by the acquirer, so he may go off. Okay, he may give up the plan of acquiring that company. Okay, well, all these things, the preventive measures, I have explained in great detail in my main lecture in module 5. So if nothing, if you are if you don't understand these things, kindly refer to the module 5 part 1. Okay, next is active measures or anti-takeover amendments. Well, these amendments or these measures are being taken by the target company when all the preventive measures fail and the acquirer company is very stubborn and it is coming to acquire the target company, and it is just a matter of time, maybe a week or maybe one day or 2 days or maybe one night, and next day the acquiring company is coming to acquire the target company. So it's in a very panic situation. In this kind of panic situation, there are few active measures which the target company tries to take in order to stop the acquisition, to stop the takeover. Okay, one such uh, measure is white knight. White knight is the target company will make an offer to buy the entire firm to its favorable bidder. Okay, and then make a promise not to disassemble the firm or lay off the management or the employees, and then when the acquiring company go off, then it will rebuy rebuy the target company from the that favorable bidder. Okay, so it is like you are selling your company to your friend and buying it back from your friend in order to avoid the acquisition. Okay, so that is a white knight. In white square defense, well, it's like you are selling a part of your company, major part of your company, to your friend, and again buying it back from your friend to avoid the takeover. It is just like white knight, but in white knight we have sold the entire target firm, entire company. In white square defense we will be selling a part or maybe a majority of the shares to our friend, and we'll buy it back when the acquiring firm goes off. Next is green mail. Well, it's a green mail is, well, it's an action of purchasing enough shares in a firm to challenge the firm's leadership. Okay, to force the target company to buy the purchase shares back at a premium. Okay, when the target company is in a panic situation, the shares which the shareholders are having, so they will increase the price of the shares as the target company's owner wants to increase their shareholding and prevent the takeover. So in this case, uh, the shareholders will challenge the company's leadership. If they don't buy the shares at a premium, then they will sell these shares to the acquiring firm and they will take over the company. So it is not a blackmail but a green mail. Okay, in order to prevent a takeover, they will be getting a higher profit, the shareholders. Okay, next is white mail. Well, in white mail, what the target company does, target company issues large amount of shares at below market price and it will dilute its shareholding. So if the acquiring firm wants to acquire this company, they have to buy large amount of shares which are there, and the shares which are there, with the shareholders, they have got those shares at a below market price. So these shareholders will be very happy because they will be offering or uh, offering those shares to the acquiring company at a very higher price. So the shares of the target company will become very costly for the acquirer company. So the acquirer company will give up its plan to buy the target company. Okay, next is a Pac-Man defense, and this is a counter strategy. In this, the target company who tries to acquire the acquiring company itself. Okay, so the acquirer company will be panic in this case, because suppose A is coming to acquire B. Okay, B will go to acquire A. So in this case, A will back off in this. Okay, so it is like the hunter is becoming hunted, so the hunter will take a step back. Okay, next is Crown Jewels lockup. In this contract, this is a contract to sell uh, firm's valuable assets at a below market price. Okay, if the hostile bid succeeds. Okay, if I have a company which is being a target by the acquirer company, I will sell the most valuable asset to someone else, so that the acquirer company will give up its plan of acquiring. Okay, then next is about share repurchase. Okay, in share repurchase, it involves buying back of own shares from the public. This is a case in which public limited company who has the shares given in the stock market, is available in the stock market, then the company itself buys its shares. That is called as a share repurchase. Why the company buys it share back? Because the owners holding in the company will become high and they will try to block the takeover. Next is divestures. In divestures, the target company will sell off its division or spin off its division into another company, so that the most what do you say most valuable business or most valuable department will not be a part of that company, so that the acquirer company will back off. Then ninth is asset restructuring. In asset restructuring, the company will sell off all those assets in which the acquirer company is interested. So if they sell off all those assets, then the acquirer company will go off. Okay, and then 10th is a standstill agreement. After all the preventive measures, all the active measures, everything, mm, okay, all of these, the acquirer company is about to acquire the target company, nothing worked, then final deal will be done by the target company, saying that the agreement says that the acquirer company will not acquire whole of the target company. It will wait for certain time, till the owner of the target company, what do you say mm, the owner of the target company settles down the expenses and all the leftover work in this target company, and they'll slowly move out from the target company. Okay, it is a kind of a agreement made between the target company's owners and the acquiring company. Okay. Okay, next is the Competition Commission of India, or CCI. Competition Commission of India was established in 2002. Before that, there was a monopolistic restrictive trade practices. Okay, it was an act which was formed in somewhere in 70s, 1970s. That act prevented the formation of monopoly in any kind of a sector, in any kind of market. So if there are 2 to 3 companies in a market, they should not form an oligopoly, and only one company should not be there in order to create a monopoly. So if there are 2 to 3 companies in the market, if one company is growing and it is trying to acquire or take over all the other 2 companies in order to eliminate the competition, then the MRTP monopoly MRTP, or now the Competition Commission of India, restrict that takeover or restrict that acquisition, so that the competition should prevail in the market. Okay, and there should not be a creation of a monopoly. So the objectives of commission of this commission CCI is to prevent practices having adverse effect on the competition, to promote and sustain competition in the market. The competition in the market is very important, because the customers in the market will be the beneficial side, and a healthy competition will try to make will encourage companies to come up with new products with a lesser price. Okay, and third is to protect the interest of the consumers. Okay, the consumers will be beneficial in this case, and companies also in turn will be beneficial, and they'll encourage they will get encouragement by healthy competition. And next is to ensure the freedom of trade. Okay, so there should not be a monopoly in any kind of production, or in a service, or in a supply of raw materials, or any kind of thing. There should not be a monopoly unless it is a government company. Okay, like we have monopoly in government sector, in defense we have a monopoly, in electric distribution to a level we have a monopoly, in railways we have a monopoly. Okay, and in sea ports we have a monopoly, and many such monopoly, but that has been controlled by the government. We don't have any private monopolistic structure in India. So this Competition Commission of India takes care of that. It doesn't allow monopoly to occur, and a healthy competition should always be there. Okay, so that's it in module 5. Try to see the module 5 entire part 1 and part 2 entire lecture. Okay, so this was just a revision. Okay, thank you for listening.